What did you do? What steps did you take? So if you are somebody who is suffering from insulin resistance, PCOS, diabetes, or related diseases, stay tuned for more. Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Airee here, and I am so excited. Happy New Year. This is my first video of the year, and I'm going to be talking about the steps that I took to reverse my insulin resistance. All right, so let's jump into it. We are talking about all of the ways I was able to, or all the things that I did that supported the reversal of my insulin resistance. The first thing I want to say is I am not a doctor, okay? I am a certified nutrition specialist, but I am not a specialist in the world of insulin resistance and diabetes and all the things. What I am going to do is tell you what worked for me, in the hopes that you can take some of these tips and ideas and put them into your regimen in the hopes that you can have success as well. I wanted to just say that. I am not getting on here saying like, do this and reverse your blank in this amount of time. No, okay, but I am going to help you out. The second thing I want to say is that you got to find what works for you. All of these tips may work, some of them, one of them. So the thing about it is just trying, and doing what's best for you is always super important. So quick backstory, I was diagnosed with insulin resistance around 2011. I cannot really nail down the time. I know where I was living, like what apartment I was in. I can see my apartment when I found out because my doctor called me after my blood work. So I know the time frame. It was around that time. It was definitely before 2013, before I moved to New Orleans. So around 2011, I was diagnosed. I was put on 2,000 milligrams of metformin, which is quite a lot of medicine. If you're somebody who's familiar with metformin or related drugs that they use to support diseases like insulin resistance. So I was on 2,000 milligrams. Of course, I was told I needed to lose weight. Coupled with that, I had high cholesterol. My cholesterol was at almost 300. And I had a host of deficiencies in terms of nutrients, a lot of nutrient deficiencies, mainly my calcium, and I had to be on calcium pills. So there was like a lot going on, which in turn made me understand, learn, and realize that this was definitely truly impacting my ability to lose weight. I cannot say exactly when my reversal happened because I was terrified. Even though I had dropped 80 pounds by 2019, I still did not go get checked up at the doctor until 2020, until like the latter part of the year. And so I'm not really sure when it was reversed or when I, got past that hump, but I know it was definitely after the weight loss. Let's jump into what I did to really take this on. I'm gonna give you my top 4. So the first one is exercise, and you might go like, boo, we already know that. But no, seriously, if you're suffering from any of these, it's gonna be super important to exercise. The reason is rooted in a little bit of science. So you're releasing that glycogen from your muscles because as you work out, your muscles are pulling from that glycogen source. That is the energy source used for you to power through that workout. And so that is going to improve your insulin sensitivity, okay? So that is what you want to do. You want to improve how sensitive your body is to insulin. And one way to do that is to exercise and release that glycogen and that sugar from those muscles through the form of exercise and energy, so that you can get rid of it. And then now your body is using insulin in the more proper way versus storing it in your body due to lack of activity. So exercise is really important. For me, if you watched my story, I went on a smaller journey where, not small, kind of big, but I worked out every day for a year, and that every day was just literally at least 30 minutes of moving my body. Some days were super intense 2-hour sessions in the gym. Some of those days were 30 to 40 minute yoga sessions. So it really just varied, but every single day I got up and moved my body for at least 30 minutes, and that was super important for me. It was important to both my weight loss goals, and I started to feel a lot better. I started to sleep a lot better. Like all of these things were happening because I was actually using the energy stores in my body instead of just eating and allowing them to not be stored properly due to my insulin resistance. Exercise, friends. Get your exercise on. The next big thing I did was I started to incorporate a lot of meditation into my life. I just recently made meditation a daily practice. My goal this year is to meditate every single day of this year. Meditation, helps with stress levels. And what happens when you're stressed and anxious, it offsets your hormone balance. And when your hormones are off balance or doing crazy things, that can cause your blood sugar levels to rise. So all of these things are connected, right? So if we're stressed, that could cause our blood sugar level to rise, which will then impact our insulin resistance, right? Or our PCOS or our diabetes or whatever form that we're dealing with. And so it is going to be super important to keep your stress levels really low. And I used meditation, but you can use other things. Some people might use the exercise piece as that way. My dog has decided to come in here and eat his lunch in the middle of my video. Continuing on, ignore him. Some people might use the exercise piece as that stress relief. You might do yoga as your stress relief. You might paint as your stress relief, or do music. Whatever it is you want, to pick something that allows you to release that stress. You don't want to be stressed and anxious and worried, because again, that's going to impact your hormones, which will impact your blood sugar levels. You want yourself to be the most zen you can be. A lot of people talk about like my demeanor now, how kind of nonchalant it is, how kind of just like, that's me most of the time, because stress can kill you, okay? Even outside of just, the hormone imbalances, like stress can kill you. And we talk about those levels: stress, hormone imbalance, blood sugar levels, and then that can, have issues with your heart and all these other things. So keeping your stress really low is my second big tip. The third thing I did, and I talk about it a lot, is intermittent fasting. And I have a video on intermittent fasting. I will link it below if you want to learn more about what I did in terms of my intermittent fasting. But I started with a 16-8 method, which is the most highly recommended method. It's the method people use the most. So I was fasting for 16 hours a day, including the time where I would sleep, and then I would have 8 hours to eat. I started with an 11 to 7 window. Now I fast for about 18 to 20 hours a day, no less than 18, no more than 20. I know that can be a bit extreme, but intermittent fasting will continue to be a part of my life, just because it makes me feel really good. It helps me to not overeat, and it's not for everybody. People pick different ways to manage their calorie intake, and intermittent fasting works for me. Intermittent fasting also has shown that it can reduce your insulin levels by being in that fasted state. It's just a really good way of controlling that. So while you're in that fasted state, like I said, that you will see your insulin levels drop significantly, because your body is pulling on that stored fat to operate in that fasted state. So that is always a positive. On the other side of that, intermittent fasting promotes fat burning. Some people believe that this is all a hoax. I mean, again, you have to do what's best for you. I have had the most tremendous success since I started intermittent fasting, and I plan to incorporate it in my life forever. One, due to the insulin benefits, and then also because it makes me feel really good and just keeps my calorie intake in check. So number 3, intermittent fasting. The fourth biggest tip that I will give is the elimination or the reduction of processed food. And this one is really hard for people, because like if your life is on the go, you're super on the go all the time, and it's really difficult for you to cook or prep your meals, then a lot of the food that you're consuming is processed food. But I cook at home. I cook at home like 98% of the time. And if I'm buying anything out, I am going to the healthiest place that I possibly can. If a friend is having a birthday dinner or something, I still will opt for a salad or a fresh piece of fish, or, something like that. I just try to do my best to eliminate processed food altogether, sticking to really whole and nutrient rich foods, because processed foods tend to be high in added sugars. And if you're fighting something like insulin resistance, why would you be putting added sugars in your body? So I want to charge and push you to look at the back of your food labels, right? And see, like, what is in here? Are there added sugars? How much sugar? And one of my clients, she sent me some candy, and I went and measured out the amount of added sugar, and it was literally like a Ziploc bag. It was almost half a Ziploc bag full of added sugar per serving. And these are things that we don't think about, you know, if we're saying we're just grabbing a snack, or, oh, let me just have a few Oreos or whatever. You know, we don't really think about the added sugar or the increased amount of sodium that is related to processed foods. And those things have a direct impact on your insulin, and just releasing that insulin into your body. And then if you're coupling eating processed foods with not working out the way you need to or should be, now that insulin is not even doing what it needs to do in your body. It is not being used as this energy source, and it's being stored in your body, and then you find yourself overweight. So it's just really important for you to be considerate of what is going into your body. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy food or enjoy things that you love, but it does mean that you should be considerate. That's all. Processed food, I personally have chosen to eliminate them as best I can. I cook at home. If I want something like pizza, I will make my own pizza. If I want a burger, I don't eat beef, but I'll do like turkey burgers sometimes, or black bean burgers. I will make those at home. And so these are things that have helped me. So these are my top 4 tips. I hope you have found this helpful. I hope that, you know, you take some of these tips and use them. Let me know in the comments below which one of these tips you're going to try out. Even if you aren't insulin resistant, let's say your family is prone to some of these, you know, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, you know, aunts and uncles, maybe they're diabetics. Maybe they were. Maybe they have high blood pressure or high cholesterol. These are all precursors. You know, these are very genetic related diseases. And so if you know, even if you don't have it now, don't think that you can't. I was diagnosed in my early 20s and was just like, what, really? And so now both my parents are diabetic. My father has high blood pressure, and these are things that I don't want to have come back into my life. So I was able to knock out insulin resistance, boom, 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 and I don't want to have to face it again, nor do I want to have to face diabetes, high blood pressure, or deal with my high cholesterol, or deficiencies, my vitamin deficiencies again either. I just want to be the healthiest person I can be. So some of these tips, even if you aren't, you know, dealing with these, even if you don't have family precursors, you can still take some of these and just continue to be the healthiest person that you can be. That's it. I also have a brand new challenge that is out to help you support your mind and body at the start of this new year. It's called the New Year Better Me Challenge, and it is linked down below for you to join me. And there is a special offer for my YouTube family as always. Thank y'all so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all in the next one.